The next bill on today's agenda is the Higher Education Omnibus, House File 7. Chair Bernardi, would you like to move your bill and tell us about your budget agreement?
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair. I'd like to move my House File 7, I believe, as you said it is today. And thank you very much.
Go ahead and explain your bill, Chair Bernardi. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much. Today is my great honor to be before this committee and share with you the compromise language between the House and the Senate. Through our shared commitment, we were able to reach common ground to help Minnesota families and students. And I'm pleased to share with you many of the House provisions have been included in the final bill. Our House Higher Education bill makes investments to ensure Minnesotan students are able to not only recover from the unprecedented challenges students have faced during this past year, but they're also ready to thrive as they move forward in the post-pandemic workforce. We had three elements in mind this year as we put together the bill. These included supporting student needs now and in the future, improving opportunities for all students using an equity lens, and ensuring we have a strong higher education system prepared to meet the needs of students. Today, I will focus on the changes that are included in our bill. First of all, to point out, our target had originally been 120 million, and now it is 100 million. And I will, first of all, go over what the things that are included in the bill. There was a little change in the dollar amount as far as the dollar amount change. Aspiring Teachers of Color pilot project is still in the bill. It got lowered to $3 million for scholarship. And then we also had intervention for college attendance in the bill before at 1.43 million. It's now 715 million. We had emergency assistance grants. It went from 1.3 million to 188 million. And then we still have the Z degree program. It's for new Z degrees, University of Minnesota. We have 500,000 of one-time money in there, and we had 2 million before. And then the student access grant, the debt is now for 250,000, and as opposed to the higher amount before. And then we no longer have the the self-loan cap went from 200,000 to 250,000, which is Representative O'Neill's number originally, and then we went to 200,000. And so then I will just share with you the things that are not in the bill this time. And mind you, we had to $20 million less than our target, and we would have really loved to have included these. And perhaps there will be an opportunity later in a supplemental budget in this biennium. One was the summer academic enrichment program. It was wanted $1 million increase. It remains at 250,000. The CTE teacher prep pilot was not be able to be funded, and hopefully that will be able to be funded in the future. It's a good initiative. The addiction medicine fellowship is not included. We had 529 plan data sharing. That is part of that provision was not included in a bill. And then working study minimum wage, the work study minimum wage study was not included in the bill. And we had some very good compromises with the Senate, and College Possible report is now going to be provided, and there is an increase of $100,000 to College Possible. Through the other thing that didn't get in the bill is our tuition freeze. That did not get in the bill as well. The state grant program, we have over $5 million of new money in that program, and more investments are being made that will invest in close to 2,800 new students, 46% of them which have incomes of less than $40,000 a year. For those of you that know the details of how this works, the living and miscellaneous expenses in law went from 106 to 109%, and the assigned family responsibility was decreased by 3% for every student category. We have an increase in MICC of $500,000. Fostering independence grants. Students who are raised in foster care will now have the opportunity to have their college tuition paid for. We also have small campus aid of $5.4 million to Minnesota State. We have child care grant that has a maximum of $650,000. And then we have in a mental health awareness program of $1.5 million of one-time money to Minnesota State. We also have basic needs hub requirement for Minnesota State, and with funding associated with that of $1 million. And then we have workforce scholarship policy changes, and now each region will be able to come up with an area of study for their region to be eligible for the workforce scholarships. And we also included some more money in that program, and the regenerative medicine grant changes to incorporate some Office of Legislative Audit recommendation changes. So that gives you an overview of it. We also have, forgot to mention, the Hunger Free Campus Act, which is collaborating with our students and having that opportunity for students to have opportunities for food insecurity, addressing food insecurity on campuses. And so that is a major win. And as well as our teacher, I didn't mention it, and it's super important, is our underrepresented teacher grant. We got some more money for that. That was increased to $1 million. That was for our student of color and American Indian students who are seeking their teacher's licenses. And so we get children in the classroom, and we know students do better when they have people that look like them teaching them. And so we split it in 2 different programs. And then we also, as I mentioned, the scholarship program. I moved through that quickly. I wanted to respect your time. And if you have any questions, please let me know. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Chair Bernardi. Discussion to the bill. Representative O'Neill.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So Chair Bernardi, I'm going to ask you the same question that I had asked Chair Sundin. Who was in the room? Because I know that these negotiations were not public. And I was assigned to the conference committee, and of course I'm the lead of higher education, and I didn't know anything about it until the deal was done. So I'm just wondering, Chair Bernardi, could you let the public know who was in the room, who was negotiating the bill, and what role did the administrative branch have in negotiating this product?
Chair Bernardi.
Oh, thank you, Madam Chair and Representative O'Neill. Thank you for the question. I will just, from the Global Agreement and Working Group Framework, number 8, the Governor, Speaker, and the House and Senate Majority Leader agreed that the appropriate commissioner and committee chairs shall work cooperatively to reach agreement within the target for conference committee reports. That was part of the global agreement, and that is what happened in our committee. Thank you.
Representative O'Neill.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Well, I'm not sure what you're reading from because that's not anything that I saw in the global agreement. And I know that not every single bill was negotiated in that way. Chair Sundin basically described something very different than that. So I'm not exactly sure what you're reading from, but from my understanding then, it sounds like you confirm that it was yourself, the Chair Thomasoni from the Senate, and the Commissioner. Those 3 of you were in the room plus some staff, and nobody else was included. I was not included. I don't believe any other conference committee members were included. I know for a fact that no other senators on the Republican side were included. And I don't believe Senator Clausen was, but we'll have to ask him himself. But my concern is all these negotiations were, again, behind closed doors without public view. And this bill was negotiated by 3 people, the chair of the House, the chair of the Senate, and the governor's commissioner, with a few staff to make notations for that. And unfortunately, we had conversations along the way, but the actual discussion as to what goes into the bill, nobody else on the conference committee or the working group had any other input whatsoever. And again, behind closed doors, and there was no public there was no view of the public discussion of this. So I should say that there wasn't public discussion of this. I'm just going to leave the committee with just this thought. There are 3 things that I find problematic in the end product. I find tremendous problem with the process, but the end product, you basically have 3 buckets is what the higher ed bill essentially is. You've got Office of Higher Education, you have Minn State, and you have the University of Minnesota. And the University of Minnesota asked for $46.5 million. They received 83% of their ask. Minn State initially had asked for $130 million. They reduced it to $75 million. And of that, they only received, specifically for O&M and their central office, they received $55.4 million, which was 74% of their ask. And again, 83% of the ask versus 74% of the ask. Again, we have shorted Minn State. This seems to be a pattern that we focus our attention very heavily on the University of Minnesota. And I would point out the University of Minnesota has other resources that they can turn to if they need. Minn State has 2 buckets. They have state appropriations and they have tuition. And I appreciate the fact that you didn't freeze tuition because then they are hamstrung that way too. But I know that there is a 3.5% increase cap in tuition for Minn State. And so there is a restriction there. But my concern is, again, we have favored the University of Minnesota system. You know, they serve about 60,000 students, give or take. With the pandemic, it's hard to know. But the Minn State system serves over 400,000. So 60,000 versus over 400,000 students. So those are my concerns, and there's still a line item in here for direct admissions, which is $1 million basically study to figure out how to send a letter to high school seniors. So we're spending $1 million to figure out how to get a letter to high school seniors to tell them about some of their options for higher education. I think that that money could be used elsewhere, maybe giving it to Minn State since we did short them yet again. So those are my concerns. I'll be voting no. My biggest concern is the process that this was done with 3 people, one of them representing the executive branch.
Representative Sundin. Mr. Chair, you're muted.
There we go. Thank you, Madam Chair, and to Chair Bernardi, thank you for your work on this bill. And I don't know how much latitude Minnesota State has for discretionary funds, but there's quite a little bit of money spent there, and I just don't know if they could come up with that match money that we talked about in the previous bill. If you have any influence over the people at Minn State, please let them know that they're looking for $650,000 in match money. Thank you.
Chair Bernardi.
Thank you, Madam Chair and members. I am again honored to be here before our committee. We did have a target, as I said, of $100 million. 56% of it went to Minnesota State and 38% of it went to the University of Minnesota. And I just am so happy of the cooperative work that we had and the compromise that we came up with. Our Minnesota students are going to be served well by this budget, and I am hopeful for their success getting through this pandemic and post-pandemic and being successful in supporting their families. So thank you very much, members.
Further discussion to House File 7. Representative Garofalo, you had your hand up, but it's down now. I just want to make sure you're not seeking recognition.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm fully informed and ready to vote. Thank you.
Okay, great. Wonderful. So seeing no further discussion, Chair Bernardi renews her motion that House File 7 be recommended for placement on the General Register. Ms. Sparkman, please take the roll.
Chair Moran.
Aye.
Moran, aye. Vice Chair Olson.
Aye.
Olson, aye. Representative Garofalo.
No.
Garofalo, no. Representative Albright.
Oh.
Albright, no. Representative Becker-Finn, excused. Representative Bernardi.
Aye.
Bernardi, aye. Representative Eklund.
Aye.
Eklund, I. Representative Hansen.
Aye.
Hansen, I. Representative Hassan.
Hassan, aye.
Hassan, I. Representative Hertas.
Hertas, no.
Hertas, no. Representative Hornstein.
Ornstein, aye.
Hornstein, I. Representative Johnson.
Johnson, no.
Johnson, no. Representative Kresha, excused. Representative Liebling.
Aye.
Liebling, I. Representative Lilly.
Lily, aye.
Lilly, I. Representative Mariani, excused. Representative Marquardt.
Marquardt, aye.
Marquardt, I. Representative Miller.
Miller, no.
Miller, no. Representative Nash.
Nash, no.
Nash, no. Representative Nelson, excused. Representative Noor.
Noor, aye.
Noor, I. Representative O'Neill.
O'Neill, no.
O'Neill, no. Representative Pulowski.
Pulowski, aye.
Pulowski, I. Representative Petersburg.
Petersburg, no.
Petersburg, no. Representative Pinto.
Pinto, aye.
Pinto, I. Representative Schumacher.
Schumacher, no.
Schumacher, no. Representative Schultz.
Schultz, aye.
Schultz, I. Representative Scott.
No.
Scott, no. Representative Sundin.
Sundin, aye.
Sundin, I. Representative Becker Finn.
Becker Finn, aye.
Becker Finn, I. There are 16 ayes and 10 nays.
There being 16 ayes and 10 nays, the motion prevails and House File 7 is recommended for placement on the general register. Thank you, Chair Bernardi.
Thank you.